Stop her! She must not leave the village! The shout echoed through the dark night as men with torches ran across the dusty road. Nia's heart pounded violently in her chest as she ran barefoot, her breath uneven, her hands trembling as she held her stomach. "If they catch me, it's over," she whispered in fear. Behind her, the voices grew louder. The chief said, "Bring her back alive!" Because the truth inside her was more dangerous than anything chasing her. She was pregnant, and the child she carried belonged to the most powerful man in the land. Just hours earlier, her world had shattered. "You are carrying the chief's child," the old woman had said, her voice heavy with warning. Nia had stared at her in disbelief, shaking her head over and over again. No, this cannot be happening. But deep down, she already knew. That night at the festival, the moment she had tried to forget, had returned to claim her life. "You must tell him," the woman continued. "No!" and Nia cried instantly, panic rising in her chest. "If he finds out, I am finished!" In their world, power did not protect the weak. It consumed them, and Nia was nothing. No family name, no wealth, no protection. Just a poor village girl who had crossed a line she could never erase. So she made a choice. She would run, and now she was paying the price. The sound of footsteps grew closer behind her. "She went this way!" Nia turned sharply into the bushes, ignoring the pain as thorns cut into her skin. She covered her mouth to stop her breathing from giving her away. The torchlight passed dangerously close. "Search everywhere!" one of the men ordered. "The chief wants her before sunrise." Nia squeezed her eyes shut, her entire body shaking. At that moment, she realized something terrifying. This was not just a search. It was a hunt. And she was the target. Back in the village, Chief Zuberi stood silently in his compound, his expression unreadable as one of his men knelt before him. "My chief, we have searched near the river. She is not there." Zuberi said nothing, but his jaw tightened slightly. "She cannot disappear," he said finally, his voice low but dangerous. "No one leaves my land without being seen." The man hesitated before speaking again. "My chief, if I may ask, why is she so important?" Zuberi's eyes darkened. "She carries my child." The air shifted instantly. Even the night seemed to grow heavier. Meanwhile, far from the village, Nia did not stop running until her legs gave out beneath her. She collapsed on the side of a long, empty road, gasping for breath, her body shaking from exhaustion. For a moment, everything was silent. No voices, no footsteps, no torches. She had escaped. But the relief didn't last. Because the truth was, she hadn't escaped him. She had only escaped the moment. Days turned into weeks, and Nia found herself in the city, a place so crowded and loud that no one noticed her fear, which was exactly what she needed. She took any work she could find, cleaning, cooking, carrying loads, anything that would keep her alive. But survival came at a cost. Her body grew weaker, her stomach grew bigger, and her fear grew stronger. Every time she saw a man in traditional clothing, her heart stopped. Every time someone called her name, she turned in panic. She was always looking over her shoulder, always running even when standing still. "Where is your husband?" a woman once asked her at the market. Nia forced a small smile. "He is gone." But the truth was much darker. She didn't know if she was hiding from a man or from her fate. Back in the village, the search had spread beyond the borders. Zuberi's men traveled from town to town, carrying her description, asking questions, following every small lead. But Nia was careful. She trusted no one, spoke to no one, and revealed nothing. Still, something about this search was different. Zuberi was not acting like a man chasing a mistake. He was acting like a man who refused to lose something that belonged to him. Months passed. And then, the night came. The night everything would change again. The pain hit her suddenly, sharp and unbearable. Nia fell to the floor of her small room, clutching her stomach, her breath breaking into cries. "No, not now," she whispered, panic flooding her. There was no one there to help her. No mother. No friend. No one. Only her and the life she had been protecting. Hours passed in agony. Her screams filled the room, echoing into the silent night. And then, a cry. Small, fragile, powerful. Her baby. Tears streamed down her face as she held the child close to her chest, her entire body trembling. "It's okay," she whispered softly. "I have you. I have you." In that moment, nothing else mattered. Not the chief. Not the past. Not the fear. Only her child. But peace never stays for long. One afternoon, weeks later, Nia walked through the busy market, her baby wrapped tightly against her back. She kept her head down, moving quickly, avoiding eye contact like always. Until suddenly, everything went still. The noise faded, the air changed, and her heart stopped. Because standing in front of her was the one man she had been running from. Chief Zuberi, or Gran. Her breath caught instantly. "No," she whispered, stepping back. But he didn't move. "You ran," he said calmly, of the say. His voice was not loud, but it carried weight, power, control. People nearby began to slow down, sensing something serious. Nia's hands shook as she held her child tighter. "Please," she said, her voice breaking. "Don't take my baby." Zuberi's eyes moved to the child. For a brief moment, something softened in his expression. Then it disappeared. "Now, you think I searched the entire land for nothing?" he asked. "I was afraid," she cried. "You are the chief. I am nothing. And so you chose to disappear with my child?" "I chose to survive," she shouted, tears falling freely now. Silence fell between them. Heavy, his up. Painful. Real. For the first time, Zuberi looked at her not as a mistake, but as a person. "I did not come to harm you," he said finally, and terror. Nia stared at him, confused, desperate. "Then why are you here?" she asked. He stepped closer. "Because I will not abandon my blood." The closer. Her breath hitched. "I want both you and the child." The words felt unreal. Like something she hadn't prepared for. "Of me." "You don't love me," she said quietly. "Maybe not," he replied, "but I will not deny what is mine." Again silence. But this time, it was different. This was no longer about running. This was about choice. Nia looked down at her child, then back at the man who had changed her life forever. "If I come with you," she said slowly, her voice steady despite the fear inside her, "it will not be as a secret." Zuberi didn't hesitate. "Oh, then you will return as my wife." The words shocked everyone around them. But Nia didn't react immediately, because for the first time since that night, she was not afraid. She was in control. And this time, she did not run. Because sometimes running away doesn't change destiny. It only delays it.